Just one spoon before bed boosts blood flow down there while you sleep. Health Aura. Know it right, live it light. Let me ask you something personal. Have your mornings started feeling a little off? Maybe your energy isn't quite there. Maybe your strength feels like it's slipping. Or maybe the blood flow where it matters most just isn't what it used to be. If that sounds familiar, don't rush to blame your age. You might be surprised to hear this, but the real reason isn't about getting older. It's about how your body is being starved of circulation every single night. You see, your body does some of its most important healing and rebuilding work at night, while you sleep. That's when testosterone is restored, arteries are repaired, and yes, blood flow down there gets a chance to return, if you give your body the right support. And that's where most men go wrong. We've been trained to focus on the mornings, caffeine, workouts, vitamins. But nighttime is the hidden key. In fact, a single spoon of the right food before bed could make all the difference in how you feel the next morning. Stronger, more energized, and more connected. In this short guide, I'll share 7 simple, delicious bedtime foods that can boost your blood flow, rebuild muscle, and restore your vitality. No matter your age. And stick around, because it'll reveal the one natural food I call nature's Viagra in a spoon. It's time to shift the way you think about aging. Nighttime is no longer something you just sleep through. It's your comeback window. 1. The silent secret. Every man over 60 needs to hear before bed. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine waking up tomorrow feeling stronger, clearer, and more connected to yourself than you have in years. No pills, no strict routines, just one subtle change made while the world sleeps. You see, for most men over 60, the conversation around energy, vitality, and performance is either avoided or reduced to prescriptions and guesswork. But what if I told you that the key to restoring your manhood, your energy, and your confidence isn't found in a bottle, but in what you do right before bed? It knows how to rebuild arteries, restore testosterone, and bring blood flow back where it matters. But it can only do that if you give it the right support at the right time. And that time is night. Yes, night, when your body enters deep sleep and begins the sacred process of repair. During those hours, growth hormone is released, tissues are rebuilt, stress hormones are balanced, and nitric oxide, the molecule responsible for opening blood vessels and fueling circulation, is waiting to be replenished. But most men unknowingly sabotage this healing window. They eat the wrong things before bed, or worse, nothing at all. They go to sleep inflamed, dehydrated, with low protein and imbalanced blood sugar. And then they wonder why they wake up feeling flat, tired, and disconnected. The truth is, what you eat before sleep can either feed your recovery or starve it. That brings me to Joe, a 71-year-old retired firefighter who came to my office not just feeling physically weak, but emotionally defeated. He told me, with tears in his eyes, "I don't feel like a man anymore." He wasn't talking only about performance. He was talking about identity, about the slow fading of who he used to be. I asked him one question: "What are you doing before bed?" His answer: "Nothing really. I just try to relax and maybe watch TV." That's when everything changed. Joe began giving his body exactly what it needed, just one spoon of the right food before sleep. Within weeks, he was sleeping deeper, waking up stronger, and yes, feeling alive again. So what was it that Joe ate? And, more importantly, what should you eat tonight to reclaim your energy and blood flow? Let's begin with a food you've likely had your whole life, but never realized could unlock the man in you once more. 2. The egg ritual, a forgotten key to male vitality. Have you ever wondered why some mornings you wake up feeling hollow, tired, and almost invisible in your own skin, while others leave you feeling grounded, powerful, and unmistakably alive? Most men don't connect that feeling to something as simple as what they eat before bed. But here's what I want you to understand. The body responds to ritual. The male body especially thrives on patterns, consistency, and deeply rooted nourishment. And hidden in plain sight, in almost every kitchen across the world, sits one of the most underestimated tools for restoring your blood flow, your energy, and your confidence as a man: an egg. Not scrambled, not fried, but softly boiled or poached, gently cooked to preserve the molecular fuel your body desperately needs at night. You see, I'm not talking about breakfast food anymore. I'm talking about biological instruction. A soft-boiled egg at bedtime becomes something else entirely. It becomes a signal to your body. Now we rebuild. Inside this humble food is leucine, a powerful amino acid that directly signals your body to repair muscle, rebalance hormones, and trigger the release of nitric oxide, that magic molecule that tells your blood vessels to open, relax, and send circulation exactly where it's needed most. Add to that vitamin D to support testosterone, B12 for healthy nerve signaling, and high-quality protein to sustain you through the night. And suddenly, this simple egg is more powerful than half the pills lining your bathroom cabinet. I remember Walter, 68, reserved and logical, a retired math teacher who believed in formulas, not food. He looked me in the eye and said, "Doc, if something this simple actually worked, wouldn't everybody already be doing it?" I smiled and told him, "That's the problem. Nobody ever told you how powerful simple can be." He gave it a try. 2 soft-boiled eggs before bed. Nothing fancy. And in just over a week, his mornings were different. Stronger, more certain. Fewer trips to the bathroom, more presence in his body. That wasn't magic. That was the body receiving exactly what it needed, exactly when it needed it. And the best part? That was only the beginning. Because next, I'll show you the creamy, spoonable powerhouse that not only stabilizes blood sugar and lowers nighttime inflammation, but actively soothes your arteries into restful, nourishing expansion: almond butter. And once you feel what it can do, you may never go to bed without it again. 3. The 1-spoon ritual that silently opens your arteries. There's a moment most men over 60 have experienced, standing in the quiet kitchen late at night, lights dimmed, stomach unsure, mind racing. You're not hungry exactly, but something feels off. You want to sleep deeply. You want to wake up feeling alive, not drained. But what if I told you that right there in your pantry is a silent, creamy powerhouse that could do far more than satisfy a late-night craving? Just 1 spoon. No prescriptions. No tricks. Just almond butter. Yes, almond butter. Not as a snack, not as a treat, but as a tool. A circulatory secret weapon hiding in plain sight. As a physician who's worked with thousands of men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, I've seen the power of this simple ritual. One patient in particular comes to mind. Carl, 74, soft-spoken, and recently dating again after years of grief. It took a few visits for him to open up, but when he finally said, "Doc, Everything else is working just fine. Except me, I heard more than embarrassment. I heard hope. Carl wasn't unhealthy. His numbers looked fine, but his energy dipped hard in the evenings. His sleep was fractured. And his confidence? Fragile. That's when I told him, your problem isn't down there. It's in your arteries, and almond butter might be the simplest way to help them. You see, almond butter is rich in magnesium, a mineral that helps relax the smooth muscles in your blood vessels, reducing tension and encouraging flow. It's packed with healthy fats that support testosterone and hormone balance, and it contains arginine, an amino acid your body converts into nitric oxide, the very molecule responsible for opening up blood flow to your most vital areas. When taken before bed, almond butter becomes more than food. It becomes a message to your blood vessels. Relax, repair, restore. And it stabilizes blood sugar overnight, a crucial factor in hormonal health and energy management after 60. Carl began taking just 1 tablespoon on a slice of whole grain toast an hour before bed. 2 weeks later, he walked in, taller, brighter. "Doc," he smiled, "I feel like I'm 20 years younger." My girlfriend noticed too. That's not hype. That's biology. Finally getting what it needs. And while almond butter opens the gates, what comes next goes deeper, into your sleep, your inflammation, and even your hormonal rhythm. Let's talk about cherry juice. But not just any kind. There's one specific type backed by real science, and it might become your new nightly tradition. 4. The ruby red ritual that puts your circulation on autopilot. There's something quietly powerful about a deep red liquid in a clear glass, smooth, rich, and almost ceremonial. It doesn't shout, it doesn't force. But sip by sip, it begins to reshape the way your body heals while you sleep. This isn't about wine. It's about something far older, far purer. Tart cherry juice. Not the sugary cocktail mix, but the real stuff. Cold-pressed. Deep red. And if you've never thought of it as a performance-enhancing food, tonight might change that forever. See, most men over 60 think the answer to better blood flow lies in pills, workouts, or waiting for the mood to strike. But what if the secret was already sitting quietly in your fridge, waiting for you to notice it again? Tart cherry juice doesn't just help you fall asleep. It helps your body heal. I remember Leonard, 69, a retired bus driver with a firm handshake and a tired soul. His words were clear. "Doc, my mind's in it, but it's like my body's sitting on the bench. Broken sleep, dull mornings, and intimacy that felt more like pressure than pleasure." That's when I handed him a bottle of unsweetened tart cherry juice and said, "Trust this. Let it work." What makes this juice so special isn't just the taste. It's what it's doing behind the scenes. Tart cherries are one of nature's richest sources of melatonin, the sleep hormone that tells your brain and body to reset. But they're also packed with anthocyanins, powerful plant compounds that reduce inflammation and stimulate nitric oxide, the same molecule responsible for opening blood vessels and improving circulation. That means, while you're sleeping, tart cherry juice is gently helping your arteries relax, your blood flow return, and your testosterone-producing systems stay in rhythm. Leonard began drinking a small glass, just 5 ounces, about 30 minutes before bed. The results were subtle at first: deeper sleep, fewer 3 a.m. wake-ups. But within 2 weeks, his mornings had shifted. More energy, more clarity, and yes, stronger, more frequent morning erections. "I didn't expect that from cherry juice," he laughed. but I'm not complaining. This isn't hype. It's how the body responds when given what it's been missing. And while tart cherry juice restores your body in the soft hours of night, the next food adds a layer of strength, repair, and hormonal balance from the inside out. One crunchy, mineral-rich seed at a time. Let's talk about pumpkin seeds and why they may be the missing piece in your nightly renewal ritual. The seed of strength. How a handful of green can rewire your nights. Sometimes the answer you've been searching for doesn't come in a bottle or a prescription, but in something small enough to hold in the palm of your hand. One of the most overlooked tools for male health isn't exotic or expensive. It's ancient, earthy, and quietly powerful. Pumpkin seeds. Yes, those tiny green kernels you may have tossed aside after carving a jack-o'-lantern as a kid now hold one of the greatest secrets to restoring male vitality after 60. They're not flashy. They don't look like much. But inside each one is a concentrated dose of the very minerals your body is silently begging for, especially at night, when healing and hormone restoration are meant to happen. You'll never forget Don, 66, retired engineer, analytical, practical. He didn't come to me for intimacy issues, at least not directly. He came for sleep. "Doc," he said, every night. 2, 3, sometimes 4 times, I'm up, using the bathroom. By morning, I feel like I've barely slept, and it's affecting everything. His energy was low, his connection with his wife strained, and his belief in his own body was fading. When I reviewed his chart, the clues were there: rising blood pressure, a mildly enlarged prostate, and chronic nighttime disruption. Nothing extreme, but just enough to chip away at the quality of his life. That's when I told him about pumpkin seeds. These small seeds are rich in magnesium, which relaxes blood vessels and calms the nervous system, 2 things essential for both sleep and circulation. They're loaded with zinc, vital for testosterone production and prostate function. And perhaps most overlooked, they contain tryptophan, an amino acid that helps the body produce serotonin and eventually melatonin, nature's sleep hormone. Even better, they include plant compounds called phytosterols, shown to reduce prostate inflammation and improve urinary flow, helping restore calm, uninterrupted rest. Don began eating just 1 to 2 tablespoons of raw pumpkin seeds before bed, sometimes with a banana, sometimes on their own. Within weeks, he was waking less. Within a month, he was sleeping deeper, feeling stronger, and reconnecting with his body in ways he hadn't in years. "It's like something inside me switched back on," he said, and he meant it. These seeds didn't just help him sleep, they helped him feel like himself again. And while pumpkin seeds deliver deep mineral support, the next food on our list takes you further. A creamy, slow-releasing protein source that works all night long to rebuild stamina and strength from within. Let's talk about Greek yogurt and why it was never just meant for breakfast. 6. The Midnight Muscle Whisperer. Why Greek yogurt rebuilds you while you sleep. There's a certain stillness at night when the world slows down, and your body, if given the chance, begins its quiet work of repair. In that silent window between the last thought and your first dream, your cells are listening, and what you feed them before bed could shape how strong, steady, and energized you feel in the morning. For men over 60, this is especially true, and one of the most powerful tools for that nightly rebuild doesn't come in a capsule or a clinic. It comes in a chilled bowl, creamy, smooth, and quietly potent. Greek yogurt. It's more than familiar comfort food. It's a dual-action protein therapy your body craves after sunset. I once worked with Robert, a 70-year-old former high school football coach. He still had that coach's presence, the firm handshake, the voice that carried. But his eyes told a different story. "I feel like I'm fading," he admitted. His muscles were softer, his energy sporadic, and the intimacy with his wife had become mechanical. "I love her," he said, "but I feel like my body has stopped showing up." When I asked what he ate before bed, he looked surprised. "Nothing. I thought eating late was bad. A common myth, but here's the truth. When done right, a light, strategic nighttime meal can enhance your body's natural rhythm." Greek yogurt is a standout because it delivers two types of protein: whey, which digests quickly to spark tissue repair, and casein, which digests slowly, providing a steady supply of amino acids throughout the night. This means that while you sleep, your blood vessels, muscles, and tissues are being gently nourished, repaired, and rebuilt. Add to that a rich dose of calcium and B vitamins to support nerve function, testosterone regulation, and smooth blood flow, and suddenly Greek yogurt becomes more than a snack. It becomes a structured recovery ritual. Robert started having a small bowl every night about an hour before sleep. Greek yogurt with a sprinkle of chia, a dash of cinnamon, and a few slices of banana. Within 3 weeks, he was sleeping deeper, waking more refreshed, and reconnecting with his wife in ways he hadn't felt in years. "It's not a miracle," he told me, "but it feels like one." And as powerful as Greek yogurt is, what comes next goes deeper, into muscle, testosterone, and artery health. It's rich, satisfying, and often overlooked. Let's talk about cottage cheese, and why it may be the most underappreciated ally in your nightly transformation. 7. The Nighttime Builder. How cottage cheese reconnects you to strength. There's something quietly powerful about the old ways, forgotten foods, simple habits, things passed down not through science journals but through kitchen tables and quiet routines. Cottage cheese is one of those forgotten tools. Not trendy, not loud, but deeply effective, especially for men over 60 who are beginning to feel the slow fade of strength. The way muscle softens, grip loosens, and confidence drifts quietly away. Most men don't realize that this one humble food, soft and white in the fridge, can become the foundation of something remarkable. I think of Frank, 72, retired mechanic, proud hands that once lifted engines and rebuilt transmissions now resting in his lap with hesitation. "Doc," he told me, "I used to feel strong, solid, like my body belonged to me. But lately, I don't know." He didn't want shortcuts. He didn't want hype. He just wanted to feel like himself again. That's when I handed him something most people walk by in the dairy aisle without a second glance: cottage cheese. What makes it so special isn't just that it's protein-rich, but the type of protein it holds: casein. A slow-digesting protein that feeds your body a steady stream of amino acids for hours, exactly when you need it most. During deep sleep. That's when your body's repair systems are on. Your growth hormone peaks, and your muscles are rebuilding themselves silently in the dark. Stronger muscle doesn't just mean better strength. It means better circulation, more testosterone support, and yes, stronger, more reliable erections. But the benefits go deeper. Cottage cheese is rich in leucine, a powerful amino acid that directly triggers muscle recovery. and calcium, which supports vascular health, relaxes blood vessels, and helps manage blood pressure. The texture is gentle. The digestion is easy. Even if your appetite is lighter at night, just half a cup is enough to begin the quiet transformation. Frank made it part of his ritual, sometimes with cinnamon, sometimes with berries. After a few weeks, he walked in with firmer steps and a quieter confidence. "Doc," he smiled, "I didn't expect to feel this solid again." My wife noticed too. That's the power of consistent, calm nourishment, given at the right time, in the right way. And if you're looking for the ultimate upgrade, a full-spectrum shake I use for men recovering from fatigue, blood flow issues, or muscle loss, what comes next might be your new nightly essential. Let me show you the exact formula. Arteries 8, the nightly reset. My prescription, shake that rebuilds you while you sleep. There comes a moment in nearly every man's journey, somewhere around 60, sometimes earlier, sometimes later, when effort no longer equals results. You exercise, you eat right, you try the supplements, the vitamins, the rituals, and yet your strength still fades, your drive flickers. You wake up tired instead of rested, soft instead of solid, distant instead of connected. When I see that quiet frustration in a man's eyes, the sense of slipping away from himself, I know it's time to introduce what I call the nightly reset. A simple shake. Nothing fancy, but precisely formulated for the biology of a man who's ready to rebuild muscle, energy, confidence, and connection, all while he sleeps. This isn't about chasing trends or dumping a dozen powders into a blender. This is about giving your body exactly what it's waiting for, at the exact time it's built to heal. You see, deep sleep is your body's most sacred window for repair. When growth hormone surges, when testosterone resets, and when blood vessels recover from the wear of the day. But without the right raw materials, none of that can happen. That's why this shake starts with whey protein, a fast-absorbing fuel rich in essential amino acids that feeds tired muscles instantly. Then comes collagen peptides, crucial for connective tissue, skin elasticity, and the integrity of your blood vessel walls. Collagen levels drop as we age, and without it, rebuilding slows to a crawl. Finally, the game-changer, leucine, an amino acid that flips the muscle-building switch, even in older men whose systems have slowed down. When combined, 1 scoop whey, 1 scoop collagen, 3 grams of leucine, this shake becomes a precision tool, supporting strength, stamina, and vascular health all through the night. I think of George, 75, a former construction foreman who'd lost significant muscle after surgery. He came to me feeling fragile, physically and emotionally. We started him on this shake, blended with unsweetened almond milk and a dash of cinnamon. Within weeks, his posture shifted. His step grew firmer, his energy returned, and in his words, "I'm finally rebuilding, not just muscle, but pride." That's what happens when you stop guessing and start fueling your biology with intention. But here's the twist. While this shake repairs you from the inside, many men still unknowingly sabotage their results every single night. It's not about what they're doing, but what they're missing. And if you're not aware of this one critical bedtime mistake, it may be the final piece holding you back. Let's uncover it now. 9. The Forgotten Hour. Why most men never fully reclaim their strength. There's a quiet frustration I see in the eyes of so many men. Men who've done everything they've been told. They've cleaned up their diets. They've added supplements to their shelves. They walk, they stretch, they lift, and yet they wake up tired, go to bed restless, and live in a body that no longer feels like home. Why isn't this working? They ask. And the answer almost always lies in a place they've never been taught to look: the hour before bed. It's the most underused, underestimated window in a man's day. The body, especially after 60, doesn't just sleep at night. It rebuilds. Hormones shift. Muscle tissue repairs. Arteries relax. But without the right fuel in that final hour, that entire process stalls. It's not about doing more. It's about doing one thing differently. Most men sabotage this healing hour without even realizing it. They skip food altogether, thinking it'll help digestion. Or they grab a quick sandwich or snack, usually high in sugar or salt, enough to spike blood sugar, interrupt hormones, and derail deep sleep. But the real issue? They're not feeding their body the nutrients it craves to support blood flow, testosterone, and tissue repair during its most regenerative state. I remember Thomas, 68, former construction worker, hardworking, no nonsense, and absolutely stuck. "Doc," he said, "I've done everything you told me. Why am I still so tired?" I asked him what he ate at night. He shrugged. Nothing, or sometimes just toast. That's when it all made sense. His effort wasn't the problem. His timing was. We introduced one simple change: a small bowl of Greek yogurt, or a shake with whey and collagen, 45 minutes before bed. Within 2 weeks, his sleep deepened. Within a month, his energy was back, his eyes brighter, his tone firmer. "I feel like I'm finally turning the corner," he said. That's the power of feeding your body at the exact moment it's asking for restoration. The truth is, no matter how many changes you make during the day, your body can't repair itself if it's starving at night. But when you learn how to fuel this forgotten hour properly, change begins, quietly, steadily, and deeply. And that brings us to the next question every man wants answered. If I start now, how soon will I feel the difference? The truth may surprise you. Let's look at what happens after just 7, 14, and 30 nights. 10. You are not fading. You're reawakening. What really happens in 7, 14, and 30 nights? And the truth every man needs to hear. There comes a point in every man's life where he pauses, not just physically, but deeply, inwardly, and wonders. Is this it? Not in a dramatic way, quietly, subtly, in the small disappointments, in the mornings that feel heavy, in the moments of intimacy that feel distant, in the body that used to rise with certainty, and now hesitates. I've sat across from men who've whispered that question without saying the words. Their eyes speak it. Their posture tells the story. They've done the right things, or tried to. They've cleaned up their diets. They've added supplements, committed to routines, walked the extra steps. And yet, the spark still flickers. The strength still fades. The connection feels like it's slipping through their fingers. That's when they ask me, "Doc, if I actually start doing what you're telling me? If I feed my body the way you describe, if I give myself these small things before bed, will it really make a difference? And how soon will I feel it?" I understand the hesitation. When you've quietly struggled for months, even years, it's hard to believe something as simple as what you eat before sleep could shift anything. But let me tell you, it can. And it often does, faster than most men expect. Because the body isn't broken. It's waiting for the signal to begin again. I remember James, 71 years old, a retired mail carrier. He wasn't hoping for miracles. He just wanted to wake up feeling stronger and feel close to his wife again when those rare, intimate moments came. He had doubts. He'd tried before, but this time he committed to the bedtime strategy. 1 or 2 of the right foods, just enough to support blood flow, muscle repair, and hormone balance while he slept. No fanfare, just quiet consistency. After just 7 nights, the first shift happened. "Doc," he said, "I feel like I'm actually resting now, not just lying down with my eyes closed. Deeper sleep, fewer bathroom trips, less tossing and turning. That's where healing begins, not in grand gestures, but in stillness." By night 14, more changes unfolded. He woke up with morning erections again, something he hadn't seen in years. His energy was brighter, his focus sharper. He told me, almost sheepishly, "I feel lighter. Not just in body, but in spirit." He didn't know it yet, but that was his body responding to cellular repair, to lowered inflammation, to renewed circulation. He wasn't aging backward, he was healing forward. And then, by day 30, the transformation was visible. His stamina in the bedroom had returned. His wife noticed, not just physically, but emotionally. His posture had changed. His face looked more open, less burdened. "Doc," he said, "I feel like myself again. Not a different man, not a younger man. Himself. And that's the point. Rebuilding doesn't mean becoming someone new. It means returning to who you always were, just supported differently. The truth is, your body is not the enemy. It's your greatest ally. But like any loyal partner, it needs to be heard, understood, given what it needs in the moments it needs it most, especially the quiet hour before sleep, when its natural systems are primed for repair. You don't need to wait 6 months to feel better. You need to start feeding the right moments of your day, especially the night, with the right materials. Protein for muscle, magnesium for circulation, tryptophan for sleep, antioxidants for inflammation, and above all, the belief that it's not too late. Which brings me to what I want every man to hear. The most important thing I can possibly leave you with. You are not broken. You are rebuildable. I don't care what your labs say. I don't care how long it's been since you felt desire, or connection, or power. I've sat across from men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s who believed they were done, that their body had passed some invisible point of no return. But I've watched them come back. I've watched them reawaken. I've watched tears fall down their cheeks, not out of despair, but relief. Because for the first time in years, they felt like a man again. Whole, capable, proud. You are not your diagnosis. You are not your fatigue. You are not the silence between you and your partner. All of those things are just symptoms of a body waiting to be nourished again. And when you give it the tools, just 1 spoon, 1 glass, 1 shake, your body listens. It responds. It thanks you, not overnight, but soon, quietly, steadily, profoundly. Healing doesn't have an expiration date. Strength doesn't belong only to the young. And desire doesn't disappear. It simply waits to be reawakened. So tonight, you have a choice. Not a dramatic one, a simple one. When you stand in your kitchen and the lights are low and the world has quieted, I want you to ask yourself, what does my body need to feel alive again? And then, give it. Give it a spoonful of Greek yogurt, a glass of tart cherry juice, a shake blended with purpose. Give your body the message. I'm not done yet. Because you're not. You're not broken. You're rebuildable. And you are far more powerful then you've been led to believe. If this message touched something in you, even a flicker, I ask you not to keep it to yourself. Hit the like button, share this with a friend, a brother, a man you care about, because you never know the difference one quiet message can make in another man's life. And if you've already begun this journey, if you've tried even one of these bedtime tools, I want to hear from you. Leave a comment below. Tell me what you felt, what changed, or simply what you're hoping to feel again. I read every word. Your story might be the nudge another man needs to take his first step. And if you want to support this message, to help us reach more men, create deeper content, and remind more people that they're not broken, consider making a small donation. Every bit helps us keep this mission alive.